In Season 7, Bran is going to continue to be our eyes into the past, and I believe the event that we are going to see through his eyes is the Tournament of Harrenhal. This is the event that started Robert's rebellion and had a huge impact on most of the characters, and in more ways than you might think. So, let's get started. This was considered to be the largest tournament ever, and many of the characters we know were involved. Jaime, Ned, Robert Baratheon, Barristan Selmy, Lyanna, Oberyn Martell, and quite a few more. It was so big that it raised suspicion as to who actually arranged it, because the lord who supposedly organized it, Lord Whent, was rich, but not quite rich enough to throw a tournament of that caliber. But we can get to that later. What I want to focus on right now is what I believe the show will focus on. So, the tournament was set at the haunted castle of Harrenhal, which is actually the castle that Arya and Tywin met at in Season 3. As I said, it was the biggest tournament ever assembled. Knights from all over came to participate. It was so big that even the Mad King, who didn't leave the Red Keep for years, attended it. There are two plotlines from this event that I believe the show will focus on. The first is Ned's plotline, and the second is his sister Lyanna's. They both came together to the event with their other brothers. Brandon, the one who was supposed to marry Catelyn and do a Littlefinger for her and beat the ever-loving crap out of him, and their other brother Benjen. Ned did not play a part in the tournament, nor did he talk to anyone in particular. He was sort of this quiet guy in the background, keeping to himself. He was a bachelor at the time. He wasn't supposed to marry anyone yet, but in the opening night, he met Ashara Dane, this guy's sister. She dances with a few of the men like Oberyn and Barristan Selmy, who actually loved her, but she ended the night with Ned. Now, it's my opinion, and some of the people in the book's opinion, that they fell in love that night. I even believe that they slept together. I think they both fell for one another, and this act helped shape Ned more than anything else that had happened in his life up to this point. I think she didn't know later on that Ned had gotten married. It had happened during the war, and Ned and Kat did not meet before that, or until he returned home from the war. And if you believe Barristan Selmy, and I do, unknown to Ned, Ashara actually gave birth to a stillborn child, which was Ned's. Look at this scene from last season.
He's better than my father.
Far better.
My father beat him.
Did he?
I know he did. Heard the story 1,000 times. He stabbed him in the back.
I think the show is building to show us that Ned has done something that Bran will look at as dishonorable. I think that when he arrived to Ashara, whom he loved, he might have told her that they couldn't be together, showing her Jon and telling her that he's now married and that he had killed her brother. She might have told him about their child. The point is that Ned did something he was not proud of. This was the thing that caused him to be so honor-bound in his later years. Caused him to never do something dishonorable, to always pursue the right thing. I'm not saying he wasn't honorable before, but this hardened his resolve to an absolute level, and was passed down to, well, some of his kids. So that's the Ned portion of the tournament at Harrenhal and sort of the causes behind it. The other part is Lyanna's. Her story begins when she sees Howland Reed, these guys' father, get bullied by 3 knights. She saves him and introduces him to her brothers, most notably Ned, because later on they would become very good friends. A day after, a mystery knight with misfit armor and a shield with a smiling heart tree challenged those same 3 knights and beat them. Now, it's pretty obvious the knight is Lyanna because of the misfit armor. The shield shows it's someone from the north. The knight was short and had a booming voice, and the story has almost no meaning if it's anyone else. So after this, the Mad King, who thought the knight was someone who actually wanted to kill him, asks his son, Rhaegar Targaryen, Jon's father, to find the mystery knight. The official story is that he found only the shield and the knight vanished. The much more likely version is that he found Lyanna, and they fell in love that night. When the tournament ended with Rhaegar winning, beating both Barristan Selmy and Arthur Dayne, he seemed unstoppable. Now, Rhaegar was good, but was he really that good? Sorry, sidetrack for a second. We'll get to that later. Anyway, after Rhaegar won, in a moment Ned called when all the smiles died, he crowned Lyanna as the queen of love and beauty instead of his own wife. Now, of course, this connects to the theory that they fell in love, and that's why he did this, and that her kidnapping wasn't what started the rebellion, but rather them running off together. I know what you guys are thinking. Why would they risk everything? Why would they risk getting their families killed? In his case, his entire family, other than Dany and Viserys. In her case, it was her big brother and her father. Just to be together because of one night? From everything we know about them, they were caring and good people. He was obsessed with the future and his place in it, and was loved by the people. She, as we can see from her protecting Howland Reed, really cared. So what gives? What? Are we out of time? Sorry guys, but the conclusion I came to was so good, or good enough, that the theory needs its own video. It's something that to my knowledge is new, and in my opinion, kinda cool. So subscribe and stay tuned for that video, which will drop really soon. And if you're here from the future, here's a link. Bye everybody, have a great day.